Hello, and welcome to Hasu Hour. I'm your host, Zerg. The matchup today is Zerg versus Terran, with Seither spawning in the bottom left and Petraeus spawning in the top left. The map is Ulrena, and it's a two-player map with a short distance between the mains, uh, covered by a very narrow path here. There is also some rocks that can be opened to make a sort of longer path and the really, really long way around. There's also an island expansion here in between the two mains. So the Terran player opens up with the barracks and some gas, probably going for fast expand, which is why he doesn't get his second gas, because he needs that mineral income to get that 400 cost command center. The Zerg goes for a fast expand himself, and then a spawning pool. No gas just yet. Potentially he's looking at a third base over here in order to keep his eco edge. Or no, there is the gas, never mind. Still probably he's going to get this third base fairly early on. And we see a little dance here from the SCV as he waits for the money to get his command center. Reaper being built for the Terran player. The Reaper is a fairly fast unit which has the ability to hop over cliffs. So it's great for harass early on. It can also throw a KD8 charge grenade that sends anything in the radius of the blast flying a few squares. It doesn't have a phenomenally effective attack, but over a span of 6 hits, it can actually kill a worker. And you can see the micro here being used to avoid the Zerglings, to kite them so that you hit and run. And he's throwing that KD8 charge. No kills just yet, but he did a lot of damage, sort of. And he's not done yet, going back in with the grenade. Drones flying everywhere. And the Reaper's still 60 hit points, although it's getting a little damage now by the Queens. 40, 32, 28. Oh, and he's trapped by the drones, but with 2 hit points, he survives. Oh, and he's wiped out by the Queen. Third base for the Zerg player, while the Terran gets his second base online. Sets up a little bunker defense, and the Zerg player now sacrificing an Overlord in order to get some glimpse of what tech the Terran is choosing. And he might actually be able to escape with the Overlord here. Badly damaged, down to 48 hit points, but he is going to survive. So no supply block for the Zerg player just yet. Looking like the Terran player is going to do some early drops. These drop harass is a very effective strategy by placing your units in your opponent's min line. You can either kill some drones or force them to retreat. Either way you win. And you need the medevac anyway in order to heal your bio units. So we'll probably see a drop pretty soon. A Banshee actually scratched that. Looking like Banshee opening with Cloak. So that's a very nice, maybe not quite as standard a line as Drop Harass. And you see what he did here. He snuck all along the edge of the map so as not to be detected. But unfortunately, the Zerg player sensed what he was doing and built a Spore Crawler, which not only provides ground to air defense, it also provides vision, which the real strength of the Banshee here is that it's cloaked, but this Banshee is badly injured, and if he's not careful, he's going to lose it when the Spore Crawler comes online. But look at this phenomenal control. A very badly injured Banshee just still being aggressive with it because he can keep it just out of range. And another Banshee coming into play here. Even though it can't be attacked by the Spore Crawler, it still provides vision for the Queen to fight it. And now, finally, the Overseer Cocoon for the Zerg player, so he is going to have that mobile vision, and it looks like he lost the other one. Both players macroing very well, keeping their spending under control. This is vital for your long-term success. If you have mineral or gas surpluses, those are troops that you could have, and you're going to lose battles, and you're going to lose games because you lose battles. So it's always very impressive to see the way these people spend all their income while engaging in these fever-pitched battles, and you know, the amount of clicks that these guys make in a minute is just phenomenal. You know, they're clicking like crazy, APMs of 200, 300. I mean, these guys, they're a little slow here. They're only making 250 actions a minute. So and you see the Terran player here setting up his tanks by the choke, and this is a very common tactic for Terrans. The Zerg player generally needs to surround. He needs to flank and attack from all angles. And the Terrans, they like to set up base by a choke point, and it's just a meat grinder if the Zerg tries to attack them through there, because the Terran units are all ranged, and they totally focus fire on the units as they're coming in. So you don't really want to attack a Terran when they are at a choke point. So the Terran making a little tactical retreat here in order to defend his third base from any sort of Zergling harass. And supply count, the Zerg player does have a bit of an advantage. That's one metric by which you can judge who's winning and who's losing a game. It's not the only thing. You can also look at the economy, and the Zerg player does have a nice harvester count here, although that is somewhat countered by the Terran mules. The income looks to be about the same. Terran trying to fight the creep spread, which has gotten a very nice covering over the map, and almost maybe a third of the map is now covered in creep, has been claimed by the Zerg forces, and that is something that as Protoss or Terran, you are going to want to try to fight, try to counter a little bit. 4 bases for the Zerg, 3 for the Terran. This fourth base seems to be mostly just a Vespian base right now. Oftentimes the little changeling infiltration here looks like it goes unnoticed too, so that is going to provide some valuable scouting. Although once he tries to move the Marines, he might catch on. Yeah, this fourth base, probably the Zerg player feels that he doesn't have the time, I guess you could say. He doesn't have the money right now to pump drones. He's got to be spending that on phenomenally unsuccessful drop here. He has to be spending that on units, because the military demands of the situation. He needs to produce the units, not to just You know, it can be a little dangerous to just pump too many drones. You leave yourself without an army right now. Yes, you're sort of building an army in the long term, but you might need an army right now, especially because, I mean, these Terran players are just so aggressive, non-stop attacks, and that's kind of a nice flying formation with the tanks, but the Terran army is just getting ripped to shreds here by this Ultralisk Ravager combination, and that could very well be the game, although the Terran player still actually pretty decent supply count here. Did manage to save all these medevacs badly in need of repair, but that was a clear victory for the Zerg forces, and the Ultralisks are always a terrifying component of the Zerg army. Mass drop here for the Terran player, but the Zerg sees it. He does have his scouting overlords in place, and he is rushing back to his main to see if he can't defend. Queens, Ultras, Ravagers, everything there, and little strike force coming up the middle here. While the dropship does a little harass at that end. Nice micro, nice anti-ultra micro. But this is going to be, yeah, he's sent packing. But he still has these 4 dropships here from the earlier aborted attack. And he might be able to take out this hive tech, which seems to be his goal here. Yeah, that hive's going down, no question about it. So there was sort of a cost there, but actually he did pretty good. Only lost 1 dropship, as well as its cargo. Probably to a corrosive bile. Possibly this queen got the kill here. And another drop. Just relentless attacks here by the Terran. I like this. You know, he's a little sort of injured, but he is not giving up, and he's doing whatever he can to try to take back the game. Both players very close to max right now, and another nice attack on the Zerg far base. I really like this Terran's attacking style. Very aggressive, very imaginative drops all over the place, as well as, I mean, he's sending troops everywhere, and he's doing it in such a manner that, I mean, he's very efficient with the sort of investment he makes in these attacks, but he's also done it in a manner that, you know, if the attack fails, if he loses the cargo, it's not really the end of the world either. So he's putting himself in a position to essentially free roll his opponent and say, you know, maybe I'll win, or maybe it won't be too big a deal. The Ultra is coming under fire from the Liberators in defender mode, and that was just a very bad engagement for the Zerg player there, taking heavy losses and really getting nothing in return. These Liberators in defender mode, extremely powerful against land. And the hatchery is down to, oh my god, another successful attack. And the dropship is even going to survive. But still a supply count advantage for the Zerg player. Up 20 supply. Both players very close to maxing. Terran has pretty good income here, and he's opted for the planetary fortress at his 4th base. I've been noticing this, especially in the most contested expansions, the closest to their opponent's base. I'm not sure why the Terran player never took this island, since especially once this refinery runs out of gas here, you can just lift this orbital command, and it's basically a no-risk expansion right there. So that is, I mean, it can be attacked. Of course, the Zerg player would eventually drop it, but since the command center is not really doing anything anyway. Really nice setup here with the defenders, and they're all spread out so as not to allow any sort of fungal to encompass them all. and the Zerg force is completely routed by the defending Terran. And this is really the beauty of Terran. How many times has this guy stopped this furthest expansion too? I mean, phenomenal. The Zerg player's income is in really bad shape, and despite struggling all game, it looks like the Terran is actually winning, substantially winning at this point, given the fact that he's ahead in supply, he's ahead in income, and the Zerg player does have he has pretty good life at this base here, and he has set up a 5th base here. So if he can hold this, maybe the game will equalize. Supply counts are equalizing, but these liberators in defender mode, really nice defensive idea here. Spread out like that and just completely guarding this section of the base. You see a little ghost pump for the Terran. He is choosing these to counter the Ultralisks. They're what's it called? They're steady targeting attack, 170 damage, perfect for taking out the armored Ultralisks. And now the Liberator push, followed by the totality of the Terran army. He's using the steady targeting, and this is really nice. A really nice battle between tier 3 units. Both sides suffering heavy losses. It is not clear. Yes, the Terran player has won. What a phenomenal game, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely.